Hello everybody, thank you for watching the video. I'm going to hopefully give you guys the information you need to complete this week's assignment and have you all caught up if you missed the class or if you are still needing a little bit of extra help. I'll try to make things quick and also clear. So we're going to start this unit of programming on cryptography in Python. Cryptography has been around since as long as people have had secrets. And the first one we're going to be looking at, the first cipher, is called the Caesar cipher, which is made by Julius Caesar himself, and it was never broken in his lifetime. Basically, it is a shift cipher. It slides all of the characters in the text down, it adds to it, right? So if we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, so on and so forth, all the way to, X, Y, Z, and we had a shift of 3, the resulting encrypted message would just be slid three letters over. So we started at A, B, C, that's the shift of 3, and then we have D, E, F, G, H, going all the way down, and then the last 3 letters of the alphabet of this, cipher alphabet would be A, B, C. So this is fairly simple. You just kind of slide everything over. But how do you put it into Python? How do you make this coded so that we can use the skills we have gotten so far and turn it into a function? So to start with, I'm going to just show exactly what we are going to be doing here. I'm going to have this printed on my clipboard, and this is the layout. We have a plain text, we want to encipher it. We want to turn that plain text into a plain number. That number is going to be the position in the alphabet. A is 0, because Python encoding starts at 0. And it would go through, B is 1, C is 2, going on and on. We want to turn that plain number into the cipher number. That's whatever change we're doing. If the shift is 3, we're going to add 3. So A would become D, because it's 0 plus 3 is 3, which is the position for D. We're going to take that cipher number and turn it back into text, that character. So basically we're going to say what spot in the alphabet is the third. What's the third character? Which is D. We're also going to start off and make this a type of function. Basically, a function is something that lets you call on it later. So when we do this, it makes it so that we don't have to retype this or copy paste this code. We can just say the name of the function and the variables that are going along with it. Which the only variables in this specific function is the text that we're putting in and the key, which is how far it goes, how far it's going to shift. So we're going to start off, we're going to define this. That's what this def stands for, define Caesar and cipher. We need to put our variables in here. The first variable we want to define is text. After that will be key. And then we just do a colon. You can see now that we are indented. The indentation means that we are within this function. We're defining this function. We're going to start off and we're going to give this output here. This will be what we put when we finally get all the cipher letters, we're going to put them all together, mash them up all into one straight line, so that way it doesn't go one by one, or it doesn't show one letter. It shows it all in a nice clean line. That's going to put it onto this output. Also going to need an alphabet variable, which will just have all the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Oh, hang on, I can't do the alphabet. Alright, sorry about that. Another thing we're going to need to know is that plain text is always lowercase and ciphertext is always uppercase. So when we input our plain text into this encipher, we want it to be uppercase as well. So we're going to just take our text, set it equal to text.upper. This function just makes this item uppercase. If we had something in here, it would do that, but we don't. So just a little reminder, always return whenever you have an enciphered message, return that as uppercase. When you have a deciphered message, make that lowercase. All right, so we're going to start here with a for loop. A for loop, if you've done stuff with the Unreal Engine, you probably managed one of these. But basically, the for loop is something that will iterate through as long as the condition is met. It's very similar to the while loop, except different conditions. So a while loop would say while this is active, but for loop says for this event. So what we're going to have is we're going to say plain text in text, or we'll make this a little clearer. Plain text character in text. We're going to do another colon to say that we're starting this for loop. And we're going to start off with our plain number. This will be equal to alphabet.find of this plain text character. So what this .find function does is it looks for this alphabet and it counts through. So if this plain text character was A, it'd go through and it'd say find where A is. A is on 0. If we had Z, it would go through, it'd say Z is on the 25th slot. So basically, what we're going to do is have this, and now we have this as a number. This is now an integer value, this plain number. So we are sitting right here in this step. The next action we need to do is turn this plain number into a cipher number. How we're going to do that is we're going to have our plain number, let me put parentheses, plain number plus the key. So this is like if we have A plus 3 becomes D. Also going to do modulo of 26. The reason we have that modulo there is because sometimes things go outside the range. If you remember from the week 0 video, the modulo just gives you the remainder, which will help us loop back to the beginning. So for this key of 3 example, if we had Z would come over and move 3, but there is no 28th character, 29th character in the alphabet, so it has to come around. So that's what the modulo will help us with. Now we're going to go through over here onto this next line. Now we are currently right here. We have our cipher number. What we're going to do from this point is we're going to turn this cipher number into cipher text. So we're going to say cipher character equals the alphabet, and then we're going to do square brackets of cipher num. This value right here. Basically, this bracket is sort of the opposite of this find. Find searches this variable for this character. The brackets will say we have the location. In this case, we'll say this is 5. It'll say now we're going to go find whatever's in the 5th slot, and we're going to return that back as this cipher character. Now we're going to reference this output because we want everything to be on one nice string here. We're going to say plus equals, which is the same thing as saying output equals output plus something. We're going to put this cipher character there at the end. And that is all we have for this loop, this for loop. Now we can see we are back inside this domain of this def. You can see the define function bar comes down here. We're not going to print it. We're going to say return output. This is now finished, right? We have our text. It'll go through as plain text, turn into plain number, turn into cipher number, cipher character into one string. Now we're done here. So let's test this out. If we say print, we're going to say our value we want to start off with the inside the parentheses, the function Caesar in cipher. Now from our text, we're going to say, I don't know, we have our text upper, so it can be lowercase or uppercase. We can say cryptography. All right, and then our key, we're going to use this example of a key of 3. Now if we print that, we can see we have this it looks like nonsense characters. Something that's important to remember. For cryptography, the receiving end needs to have this key. If they just receive this, they don't know how to turn that back into this word cryptography. So basically, this week's assignment is to create the D cipher. If you were given this, could you turn it back into this? So how you're going to do that is to take this process, text the number, you're just going to do it backwards. It should be fairly simple. Let me know if you need any help. I'd be happy to give it to you. Just a few things to remember. If you have these functions, you need to make sure that you will call them in your print function. Remember that variables need to be equal to something before they are added, right? So we need to have this. That's why we define the output out here. So that way it started off equaling something, and it was a functioning process. That is all I have for this video. Please get in touch if you need it, and good luck.